Hi, I'm Brad.
I'm Meg.
And
welcome to the Millennial Report.
Today we've got a great segment for you with some special guests, as you can see here. Before we get to that, what are we talking about today, Meg? We're talking gamification.
Apparently gamification. This is actually kind of a new learning module, right?
Much more educational, much more fun. It's real-world experience as well. And that is why we have here today with us Krista Peterson and Jeremie SaintVil, co-founders of VERB. Welcome to you both.
Thank you
for having us.
Welcome.
You know, it's interesting when you mention the word gamification. It's not just being restricted to companies now. The U.S. military actually has embedded games as part of a training curriculum and a recruiting tool because it's that effective at teaching people about intricacies of not only war, but how to use tools and weapons within the U.S. military. That's how effective games have become.
And I can imagine they're a bit of a hook too, you know, for retaining interest, especially when learning and training. Now, so clearly you guys did a ton of research. So any statistics that's, you know, really stood out to you guys while you were going through this?
73% of millennials are not confident in the stock market at all. And that's actually across the board. That's more leaning towards the American people as a whole. About 56% of them have less than $1,000 in their bank account. There is an interesting gap when it comes to their knowledge level of the stock market. When you don't know something, you get afraid to participate in anything.
Right. Absolutely.
If I told you to walk into a room and it was just pure black, you wouldn't want to walk in there because you don't know what's in there. Right. And that's how they feel about the stock market. It's just dark. It's something that's unclear. And that's one of the key revelations that we have, but there's been other organizations that have discovered that as well, and Krista can speak to that.
What we found is in working with a lot of our partners in brokerage firms, users or clients, people out there are really looking for a place to practice, right? And you can do that when you game. You eliminate your fear. You know, you're in an environment where, you know, you can sort of take what you know and what makes sense and really apply it in a great way. And so we found that, you know, 8 in 10 millennials today play games on a daily basis.
Definitely guilty.
And it really,
Definitely
right? Which one's your favorite?
I go for like the classic like Candy Crush. I don't really deviate that. Have you ever played Whale Trail? That's another one.
No.
I don't know. Those are only two, but I really, honestly, I find myself, I'll get hooked on them for periods at a time.
That's right.
You know?
Temple Runner, the company that creates Temple Runner, like Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride, they actually list on Nasdaq, which was amazing. I worked with them on their Wall Street Journal ad. So anyway, we're getting off topic there. Two of our favorite games.
Not hard
Well, see, you're already excited, right?
Very much.
True.
Exactly. So it gets you engaged, and it really allows you to get out there and, you know, just do what comes natural, but have fun while you're doing it.
Trust for millennials is a huge factor when investing. You mentioned the stat about they have less than $1,000 in their bank account most of the time. So trust is a huge topic of discussion that we always have on the show. And as we're thinking about trust and gamification, do you think that gamification is actually building upon that trust that they'll have for the stock market going forward?
Yes. You know, what Chris alluded to earlier is so key. When I'm playing a game, I have less consequences because I'm playing. Right. It's not real capital in the stock market, for instance. So if I can play and see how I perform in that virtual environment, my confidence level will increase, allowing me to approach the stock market with a heightened level of trust in my performance because I've applied that in a virtual world.
You know, and it's even more so, let's say you're trading, right? And all you have is $1,000. You're a little scared if you make a mistake, you know? So when you remove that, you can just use common sense to really understand what's going on and create your own strategy and apply it. So I think it really allows our users and people out there to get a better understanding because you eliminate all that fear and distrust.
Yeah. Now imagine if you can also do this. Let's just say Brad decided to play the game and figured out a particular trick within that game that he shares with me. As a result of his involvement, my performance would be a lot better because he went there first.
Sure.
So if I could have a community of friends playing the game with me, figuring out things that I probably would not want to figure out or have the time to, it minimizes my learning curve, but also enhances my performance when I do play because I have a community that supports me. And I think that's critical to building that that sense of trust and eliminating a lot of fears that people have about the stock market.
Absolutely. And just to echo two of the things that you mentioned, eliminating the fear, settling some of those nerves, but the community aspect as well. And we always recall back to this gamification experience with CNBC's $1 Million portfolio that we were doing back in high school, I guess. And the fact that, number one, community, the rest of the class was involved with us. We were all competing against each other, so we were challenging each other's strategies. It was settling a lot of our nerves. We were looking at this on a daily basis, engaging with our community, and again, building up our own strength and really mindset when approaching a lot of what we're seeing on a daily basis here.
That's right.
And you're targeting kind of an age range that, and I mentioned this a lot, kind of came to realize and understand the market around 2007, 2008 during the crisis. And so a lot of us still, we harbor that, that reserve of trust and we have that fears.
And that age demographic, I believe, are brilliant.
I agree.
think that they're just so intelligent.
They are.
We'll pay you later.
The way to prove that is by their actual performance. And the more we can get them engaged in the stock market, the more validation I can give to that compliment. And that's what I'm looking to do, is to get them as engaged as possible in the stock market.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about Verb, the company, also Verb, the app.
Sure.
Right? Pre-launch
That's a great
discussion
question.
here.
So what Verb really does is it addresses the concerns that we've just talked about.
Right.
People don't know what to do when it comes to trading in the stock market. They're afraid of trading in the stock market. And the bigger piece here is they don't have any money.
That's true.
They're lacking a lot of funds. Verb addresses all three of those concerns. We've, as we talked about, gamified the U.S. stock market to make it something fun, where you're learning through playing games, which is extraordinary. And the other key piece of that is, as a result of that, you eliminate the fear that you would typically have because you're starting off with virtual capital. The other key piece, of course, is the socialization. You can, play games with peers and learn with people that you know and trust throughout that process. And if you continue to play that, you have an opportunity to gain real cash just by playing the app. So you could play, learn, socialize, and earn, all for free.
And what's so awesome as well is, like I said earlier, perfect practice makes perfect, right? So not only do you eliminate all those problems, but we're using Nasdaq's real-time data. So the accuracy of the company information that they're getting, the prices, is going to mimic that of going into the live stock market. So we teach them the right way, as if, they are actually trading and it is real money. And I'm sure you'd be pretty happy to have $250,000 of fake money to trade with, right?
Absolutely.
No risk.
No risk.
We'll see how good you are.
There we go.
I like to create these challenges to try and
challenge
be
each other,
number
too.
one on the leaderboard.
That's right. You know what's interesting about that is, imagine if we all decided to just go to Vegas and play some serious poker. Well, I'm not good of a poker player as Krista is. She's really good at poker. So let's just say, for the sake of a hypothetical situation, that every time I go to Vegas, I come with $5,000. And every time Krista goes to Vegas, she comes with $5,000. Every time that I play poker, I lose $5,000. She makes $25,000. So the next time we all go and all three of us have $5,000 and we're all at Vegas and she has a pretty good track record at performing, what would you most likely do when we all are in Vegas and Krista's the top poker player?
I'd give her my money.
With Verb, you can actually use the effective trading techniques of so many other people and just deploy them with a tap of a finger. It's that simple. And that's the beauty of Verb. You can leverage the community to improve and enhance the quality of your performance.
It sounds like real-time data is a critical element of this platform. Then how did you go about incorporating that? Was it difficult at all? Because it sounds like that's a really important element to have within the platform like this.
Sure. I mean, definitely not, right? It's all, through our team and having seamless integration to ensure that our users are getting that real live experience. And, our partnership with Nasdaq has been extraordinary, and working with that team to just give our users the best possible experiences has been flawless.
We believe this is one of the best ways to get acclimated to the stock market. I mean, you have no risk, you're getting taught for free, and we help you make money. We actually give money away.
Right.
And that's something you won't find with big banks with the expensive hedge funds. No one's putting their money where their mouth is.
Interesting.
And Verb is actually doing that. And it allows you to do so much as a result of having someone like us really empower you. And quite frankly, we look to change the entire financial market with the millennials, with our user base. We plan on changing everything.
So you speak about millennials as well. What's the launch plan for Verb as well?
So we're engaging a lot of different venues. Of course, we're having a very large voice in educational systems, college, universities, and creating cross, campus challenges. But additionally, just really getting the word out to ensure that people understand the type of environment that they can go into and leverage. Engaging as many different resources as we can to boost up the amount of users that we have in the community. And truthfully, when you look at the success of that, right, the way that we measure ourselves is the engagement level. The more engaged users we have, the more money we can give back to the users. And so we're going to be tracking every penny that we give to every single user every month, and each top percentage of users is going to be getting $1,000 of real cash in their bank account.
Right. The key is to actually join our wait list by going to verb.world. Because then they get all of this information that we're going to be giving them. They'll be given some notification when our app is primed to start to download, and they could be part of our beta.
I think it perfectly ties in the conversation that we were having about gamification.
Yes.
You're really merging education, fun, and something that's really tricky to most people, which is the stock market.
And make a little extra cash.
And make a little
Engaging
extra.
and accessible and profitable.
With the app, you can play,
Yep.
learn, socialize, and earn.